Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn how to create wave transaction for WooCommerce order. I want that whenever a new order is placed in my WooCommerce store, automatically a transaction should be created in my wave. So how we are going to do this process automatically and effortlessly? For that we will have to integrate WooCommerce with Wave, and to do the same we are going to use Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. Now what we are going to do, we have WooCommerce in our trigger and Wave in our action. So we will be connecting both of them by using Pabbly Connect in such a way that whenever a new order will be placed on my WooCommerce store for a particular product, automatically first the customer will be searched in Wave, and if that person will be an existing customer of Wave, then automatically a transaction will be created in Wave for the same purchase order. And to learn the entire process step by step, let me take you all to my screen. So in this video, we are going to learn how to automatically create a Wave transaction for WooCommerce order. Okay, so let's start learning this process step by step. First of all, in order to create the workflow, we have to come on our browser and then we have to search for pabbly.com/connect. And when we do that, we will come on the landing page of the software. Here we can find two options, sign in and sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you have to click on sign up for free button to create your free new account, and it will take only 2 minutes. Also, at the time of account creation, you will get 100 free tasks to explore this amazing software. Now, because I'm already an existing user, therefore I am clicking on sign in. After coming on the all apps section, we can find all the products offered by Pabbly. To create this workflow, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. So let's click on access now, and it will take us towards the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. So this is the dashboard, and here we can find all the workflows which we create. And to create a new workflow, we have to click on this create workflow option given on right corner with blue color. So let's click on it, and here we can find a dialog box is appear in front of us, which is asking us to provide this workflow a suitable name. So let's give it a name and create wave transaction for WooCommerce order. Okay, after giving the name, let's click on create. And here we can find, as we do that, two windows are open in front of us. First is a trigger and the other is action. So what are trigger and action? Trigger and actions are the basic concepts or the basic principles on which the entire workflow of this automation runs. Here we can have only one trigger in any workflow, but we can have multiple actions as we want. So the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. That means the action is the response towards the trigger. Trigger is the very first step of every workflow. So let's start creating this workflow by selecting our trigger application, which is going to be WooCommerce. So we have selected our trigger application. Now we will select our trigger event. That is the event on the happening of which the response should be captured here in Pabbly Connect. Okay, so here we want that whenever a new order is created in WooCommerce, then the response should be captured here in Pabbly Connect. So let's select our trigger event, new order created. And we can find, as we do that, a webhook URL is provided to us along with some instructions which we have to follow in order to connect our WooCommerce store with Pabbly Connect. So here we have to follow these instructions step by step, and I will tell you exactly what we are supposed to do. So let us first copy this webhook URL from here, and then I will take you to my WordPress account. Here, WooCommerce is the plugin of WordPress, so I've installed it. After coming on this page, we have to go on WooCommerce, and under that we have to select settings option. And as we do that, from the top we can find several options. So from these options we have to select advanced. So let's select it. And under that we can find several options here too. So from these options we have to select webhooks. So let's select webhooks. And now we have to click on this add webhook button in order to create a new webhook. So let's click on add webhook. And now we have to enter the details of our webhook. So first of all, let us give a name to this webhook. So I am giving just a random name as Wave. Okay, and the status is disabled by default, so we will keep it as active. Okay, now we have to select the topic. So from the given options we have to select our trigger event, which is order created. Okay, so we have to select the topic as order created. Now we have to paste the delivery URL. That means the URL which we have copied from Pabbly Connect. So let's paste it over here, and this is done. So we have to simply click on save webhook. And with this, we can find that our webhook is set up. That means now our WooCommerce store is connected with Pabbly Connect. So here we can find the response also that we have received a webhook ID. That means we have successfully integrated WooCommerce with Pabbly Connect. Now what we are supposed to do, we will click on this recapture webhook response button. Okay, so we have to click on yes. And we can find that it is showing waiting for webhook response. That means now we have to do a test submission by placing an order in WooCommerce store, okay, for a particular product. Place a test order in order to capture the response here. So for that, I will again go on my WooCommerce store, and here I will go on products. So this is the product section in my WooCommerce store. Now from these options, I am going to select a particular product in order to place a dummy order. So I am going to select this advanced PHP course. So let us open it. We will click on view. An advanced PHP course is open in front of us. Now we will click on add to cart in order to place the order, and we have to click on proceed to checkout. Okay, so let's click on proceed to checkout button so that we can make a test purchase. So this is the checkout page of advanced PHP course. Now I'm going to enter the details over here. Okay, so first of all, let's start with first name. So let us give the first name as test and the last name as customer. Done. And now we will give the name of the company. Let us say XYZ. Okay, country India. So let us enter a random address. So let's say this is the address, and now let us enter city name. Let's say Bhopal, state Madhya Pradesh. Let us enter a random pin code. Okay, and the phone number. Done. And now we are going to enter the email address. Okay, so I'm going to enter the random email address as testc88@pabblytunes.com. Okay, done. Now we'll click on place order, and here we can find that our order is created. The payment status we have selected is cash upon delivery, so our order is placed. Now we will go back on Pabbly Connect, and here we can find that we have received the response in Pabbly Connect along with the order details which we have placed for advanced PHP course in WooCommerce store. Okay, so here is the details of the product, advanced PHP course, and the details of the customer: first name, last name, address, contact number, and the email. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create a transaction in Wave for this particular order which is recently placed in WooCommerce. But actually we want to apply a condition here. We want that the transaction in Wave should be created only for the customer who is already existing in Wave. Okay, so if the customer already exists in Wave, then only the transaction should be created for a WooCommerce order there in Wave. Okay, so if the person who have made the purchase in WooCommerce does not exist in Wave, then the transaction should not be created. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do, we have to first of all search this particular customer there in Wave by using the email. Okay, so what we are going to do, we will select our action application as Wave, and in our action event we will select get customer by email. Okay, so we will check for the customer if it is an existing customer or not by using the email which we have received in WooCommerce order response. Okay, so let us click on connect, and here from the given options, let's select add new connection, and we have to click on connect with Wave. Now Pabbly Connect is asking us for the permission to access our Wave account, so let us click on allow access. And we can find that automatically our authorization is successful. Why? Because I was already logged into my Wave account. So you also have to keep in mind always to keep logged into your Wave account before making up a connection with Pabbly Connect, because it makes a connection simple and easier. Okay, so as we have connected our Wave account successfully with Pabbly Connect, so let's move on, and now we have to enter the details given over here. So first of all, it is asking us for the business. So it is already selected as Pabbly. Now the next is customer emails. So what we are going to do, we have received the customer email through WooCommerce response. Okay, so we are going to use the same response here in order to map the details. So what we are going to do, we are going to use the step of mapping, that is inserting the data from previous step, and our previous step is WooCommerce order. So we will select our previous step like this, and we will search for email, and we can find that billing email is given over here, so we will select it and it is mapped. So why we use mapping here? Because we want that whenever a new response is captured here in Pabbly Connect through a new WooCommerce order, automatically this field should be replaced with a new detail, that is new email of a new customer. But if we will enter the details, then that data will become static and it will not change with every new response. Then the workflow will get stuck. Okay, so in order to automate the entire process, we use mapping. Okay, so we have mapped the email here. Now we will simply click on save and send test request, and we can find that we have received the response along with the customer ID. Okay, so this is the customer ID which we have received. That means this particular customer already exists in the form of customer in Wave also. So we have received the ID of the customer. Now we will move forward and we will create a transaction. But before that, I want to add the condition over here. So what condition I want? I want that only if we receive this particular ID, that means if this ID exists in Wave, then only the transaction should be created. For that, what we are going to do, we will simply click on plus sign in order to add one more action step. And we will apply filter here. Okay, so filter is a feature by Pabbly. It allows us to create the conditions. Okay, so we will simply select the label here and we will use the customer ID which we have received through Wave. So this is the customer ID, and in our filter type we are going to select exist. So I want that if this particular customer exists in Wave, then this workflow should continue. Okay, so let's click on save and send test request. And we have received the response and our status is success because our condition is true. As we know that this customer already exists in Wave, so this workflow will continue now. Okay, but if the customer will not exist in Wave, then this workflow will stop here. Okay, and it will not continue. So we will create a new transaction for the purchase made in WooCommerce in our Wave account. Okay, so let's again click on this plus sign for adding one more action step, and we will select our action application as Wave. And in our action event, we are going to select create transaction with line items. Okay, click on connect and we will go with the existing connection only. Click on save. And again, our Wave account is connected with Pabbly Connect. Now we have to enter the details given over here. Okay, so first of all, it is asking us for business, which is already selected over here. Now the next is external ID. So this external ID will be a unique ID of our customer, which will be changed for every new customer. So we will use a unique thing. So we will use an ID which is going to be changed for every customer in WooCommerce. For that, I'm going to use the order ID here. Here is the order key. So I'm going to use this particular key, which is going to be changed for every new order. So I have used it. That means basically this external ID should not be same for every new customer. Okay, so therefore we map the order key here. Now the next is date. So we have to enter the date in this particular format, that is year, month and date. Okay, so here we will check whether we have received the date in this particular format or not. So we will click on WooCommerce and we will search for date. But we can find that we have not received the date in the required format. So for converting this particular date in the required format, what we are going to do, we will use one more action step here in between. Okay, so for that, let's click on add action step and we will use date time formatter here, which is again a feature by Pabbly. Okay, so it allows us to format the date and time according to the requirements. Okay, let us select the action event as format date only because we only want the date. Click on connect and it is already connected because it is an inbuilt feature of Pabbly. Okay, now we have to enter the date which we want to format. So here we have received the date in WooCommerce response. So we will select the date here. So this is our date. Now we have to enter the from format and to format. That means the format from which we want to change the date and the format which we want. Okay, so we will use the from format as we have received the date in the format of year, month, date and hour, minute and seconds. Okay, so this is the format. So we will select it, year, month, date, hour, minute and second. So we have selected it and we want the to format as only the date, that is year, month and date. So we have selected it. We will simply click on save and send test request and we can find that we have received the response in the required format. Now we will use this response in order to map the date here in Wave. Okay, so we will again click on connect because we have added one more action step here in between and we will go with the existing connection only. Click on save. So here again our Wave account is connected with Pabbly Connect. Now we have to enter the date. So we will use the date time formatter response and here is the date. Done. Now the next is description. So we have to enter the description of the product. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to enter the description, that is the name of the product, which is advanced PHP. So this is the name of my product. So I've added this in description. You can add the description according to your choice. The next is anchor account. I am selecting it as Magnet Brains. Okay. The next is transaction amount. So we have to enter the amount of the order. So let us search for amount, and the total amount is given over here, so we will simply map it. And in our transaction direction we will select deposit only because the amount is deposited. Okay, so line item categorization account. The next is line item categorization account, in which I am going to select sales because we have made the sales in WooCommerce. Okay, so here I have selected sales. Now the next is very important step, that is line item customer ID. So here we want that every time a new order is placed in WooCommerce, the customer ID should be changed according to the new response. And we have received the customer ID here through Wave response earlier. So we want that this particular ID should be mapped here. For that, what we are supposed to do, we have to turn this mapping button on, okay, so that we can map the data from our previous step. So let us delete the existing data here, and we will map the customer ID which we have received through Wave. So this is our customer ID and we have mapped it. Now because we have used mapping, so every time a new response will be received in Pabbly Connect and a new customer ID will be received through Wave, automatically that ID will come here, okay, in place of this particular ID. So now let us move further. The next it is asking us for line item amount. So we will again enter the amount here. This is our amount, done. And in the line item direction we have selected increase. Okay, so some of the details are not mandatory over here, so I am ignoring them for now. After entering all the required details, I will simply click on save and send test request. And here we can find that we have received the response along with the positive value and the transaction ID. That means a new transaction is created over there in Wave account. So we will go and check on our Wave account. So this is the dashboard of Wave. Now we will go under accounting section on transactions. And we can find that yes, a new transaction is created over here for advanced PHP course and with the account as Magnet Brains. The amount is also given over here. Okay, so that means our workflow is perfectly successful. Now we will go back on Pabbly Connect and summarize what we have done in this workflow. So we have taken 5 steps here, 1 trigger and 4 actions. In trigger we have taken WooCommerce, and in action we have taken Wave, filter by Pabbly, date time formatter by Pabbly, and again Wave. And we have connected all of them in such a way that now whenever a new order will be placed in WooCommerce for a particular product, automatically the customer who have made the payment will get searched through email in Wave, and if that particular customer will be an existing customer of Wave, then a transaction will be created for the same purchase made in WooCommerce in our Wave account. So these are the steps which we have to follow in order to integrate all these applications. Now this was it in this video. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. Not only these applications, but you can easily integrate many other applications by using Pabbly Connect. Now, if you have any doubt, you can easily email us at support@pabbly.com. If you want to ask any query, you can easily reach out to us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you are having any pricing related issue with Pabbly Connect, you can easily reach out to the website given over here. Now, if you find this video helpful in any way, do not forget to share it with your friends. And also, please like our videos and subscribe to our channel to learn more such automation.